To be honest, I don't think I can put together any better words to encapsulate the true essence of what the Durand Cup is all about. Historic teams, legendary players, and one grand event to bring them all together. Ladies and gentlemen, the Durand Cup. A very good morning to everyone, our esteemed dignitaries, personnel from the army, members of the footballing fraternity, and our friends from the media. I, Arivrit Malhotra, welcome you all to the trophy unveiling of the 131st edition of the iconic Durand Cup football tournament. Before we proceed further, I would request our distinguished audience to draw your attention to our screen where we play the official audio-visual of the tournament depicting the journey of the Durand Cup.
WEBTV विशेष मोहन बगान में Goan sporting in the final of the Durand Cup.
The Durand Cup, the oldest and one of the most prestigious football tournaments in India. A lasting tradition since 1888. An initiative of the armed forces. A battleground where the legends of football fill this revered trophy, a stage where champions are born. The Durand Cup.
And today is a momentous occasion indeed. The three iconic Durand trophies, namely the President's Cup, the Durand Cup and the Shimla Cup, that started their journey from the city of Kolkata and going through Imphal, Guwahati and Jaipur, have finally now arrived in our state of Goa. A state which breeds, worships and loves football. The only Indian state where football is the official sport, and with FC Goa being defending champions, we take pride in welcoming these trophies to our abode before the journey back to Kolkata. May I now request Commodore Ashish Goan, Naval Officer in Charge Goa and Chief Staff Officer Headquarters Goa Naval Area to come up to the stage. The officer is an alumni of 83 NDA course, a communications and electronic warfare specialist. He has commanded Coast Guard vessel C-04, naval ships Battlemore and Gharial. The officer has also undergone 7th UN SATCOM course at Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, where he stood first in the Asia-Pacific region and was awarded the gold medal. He is also a keen sports player. May I now request Mr. Derek Pereira, Technical Director, FC Goa, to come up to the stage. Derek Pereira is a former Indian footballer who now serves as the Technical Director of defending Durand Cup champions, FC Goa. Having started his professional career with Salgaonkar SC in 1980, he quickly rose to the ranks and made his Indian national team debut in 1984. He would go on to represent the country over the next 7 years. After hanging his playing boots, he took to coaching and has since then coached a number of prominent teams with much success, namely with Mahindra United and Salgaonkar. In the year 2017, Derek Pereira joined FC Goa as the head of youth development and now holds the position of technical director at the club. May I now request Commodore Ashish Goan, Naval Officer in Charge Goa and Chief Staff Officer Headquarters, Goa Naval Area, to kindly facilitate Mr. Derek Pereira, the Technical Director of FC Goa. May I now request Mr. Akshay Tandon, President and co-owner, FC Goa, to please come up to the stage. Akshay Tandon is FC Goa's President and co-owner. An entrepreneur who wears many hats, he took over FC Goa in August 2016. Since taking over, the club has been a consistently top-performing team in the country, bringing in accolades, silverware and love for its style of play. Not just on the field, but for its off-the-field initiatives, the club has built a state-of-the-art youth program, set up the Fossa Goa Foundation, which addresses the challenges with grassroots football in the state of Goa. This is with the goal of producing players for the country to eventually compete in the World Cup. He is currently working to establish a football-focused campus in Goa. May I now request Lieutenant General K.K. Rapswal, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal, Chief of Staff Eastern Command and Chairman, Durand Organizing Committee to come up to the stage. The General Officer was commissioned in 1984 in Corps of Engineers. The General is recipient of the prestigious Sword of Honor while passing out from the Indian Military Academy. The General Officer was awarded Sena Medal for his service towards infrastructure development in Andaman and Nicobar Island, where he was posted as Chief Engineer. He was also awarded with the Vishisht Seva Medal for his services when posted as Engineer in Chief Branch, New Delhi. The General Officer belongs to a family wherein all the members are in the army, and his brother is a Lieutenant General in the army as well. And his two sons are also third-generation army officers. May I now request Lieutenant General K.K. Rapswal, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal, Chief of Staff, Eastern Command and Chairman, Durand Organizing Committee to please kindly felicitate Mr. Akshay Tandon, President and co-owner of FC Goa. May I now request the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Information and Technology, Printing and Stationery, Government of Goa, Shri Rohan Kaunteji, to come up to the stage. The Minister for Tourism, IT and Printing and Stationery, Government of Goa, Shri Rohan Kaunteji, is a politician and philanthropist from Goa. He has an avid interest in the fields of tourism, IT, etc. He is a three-time winning MLA from the Porvorim constituency. Rohan is a sports enthusiast who has represented the state of Goa in cricket and basketball and has a keen interest in football as well. May I now request Lieutenant General K.K. Rapswal, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal to kindly facilitate the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Information and Technology, Printing and Stationery, Government of Goa, Shri Rohan Kaunteji. The Durand Cup remains the Indian Armed Forces' prestigious gift to the sport of football, and it is the world's third oldest and Asia's oldest running football tournament. A total of 20 teams will be participating this year, starting August 16th to September 18th, 2022. The history of Indian football, simply put, is incomplete without Durand Cup. Starting in the year 1888, it has been a source of inspiration for everyone that has fallen in love with the beautiful game. It has also given the legends of the country a platform to showcase their talent. Last year, the 130th edition of the Durand Cup saw history made, again as for the very first time in the competition's illustrious history, an ISL team, Goa's very own FC Goa, emerged champions for the very first time. The Indian Armed Forces have always taken huge steps and pride in promoting sports across the nation besides fulfilling their primary duty of securing our borders, which I may say they do so with dedication and love for the country. To repay for this indebted service, we should also take a moment to appreciate and salute our Indian Armed Forces for their continuous service and hard work towards our motherland, India. I would now request Lieutenant General K.K. Rapswal, Sena Medal, Vishist Seva Medal to please address the audience.
Shri Durand, Minister for Tourism, Information and Technology, Government of Goa. Mr. Akshay Tandon, President and Co-owner FC Goa. Commodore Ashish Goan, Naval Officer in Charge Goa and Chief Staff Officer, Goa Naval Academy. Mr. Derek Pereira, Technical Director Goa Area. Distinguished guests are here, ladies and gentlemen, and my friends from media. A very good morning to you all. At the very outset, I would like to thank the Honourable Minister for having taken out time from his very busy schedule and being here with us on this historic occasion. I say historic because this is the first time that we took a decision that the 3 trophies associated with Durand are moved to different cities where the events are held or from where football teams are taking part. The idea was that the football fans and the other civilians are able to have a look at these, I would say, historic trophies. Historic when I'll tell you a bit later. Now, next about 5 or 7 minutes, I'll just tell you how Durand started and how is Army involved in it. Ladies and gentlemen, Durand started in 1888 by the then Foreign Secretary of the Government of India, Mr. Henry M. Durand. He was the Foreign Secretary of the Government of India from 1884 to 1894. It was while he was recuperating from some sickness in Shimla that he decided that he must introduce some sporting competitions. And this is how the first cup was conducted in 1888 at Dakshai in Shimla in Himachal. Initially it was only meant for the British infantry units and the civilian clubs came much later. Since 1888, it is each year this cup is being conducted by the Army on behalf of the 3 services. Post-independence, of course, this responsibility was given, and now we have a Durand Football Tournament Society registered in Delhi. This society was formed in 1958. The president of the society is Chairman Chief of Staff Committee, and all the 3 chiefs of Army, Navy and Air Force are co-chairperson in the society. And we got large number of other civil officers, people from Delhi Football Association, police officers, about 25 odd members in this society registered in Delhi. For first 52 years, that is from 1888 till 1939, this cup was conducted in Shimla. It was only 1940 that this cup was shifted to Delhi, and that is the year the first Indian civil club, that is Mobile and Sporting, won this cup. For next 74 years, 1942 till 2013, the event was held in Delhi. And ladies and gentlemen, this event is held each year, except for some periods which were beyond anybody's control, which includes the initial break from 1914 to 1919, which was basically due to the World War I. 1939 and again 41 to 49 was again because of World War II and partition. 1962 because of Indo-China War. 1971, even during the Indo-Pak War, this cup was conducted. 2014, our Honorable Defence Minister at that time, Mr. Manoj Parrikar, decided to shift the cup to Goa. So 2014, the cup was held in Goa. 2015, the cup was again moved back to Delhi. And because of this too much of movement, and Delhi, we are all aware, football doesn't have that kind of fan following in Delhi. So therefore, in fact, 2015 when they shifted to Delhi, that was the first year since 1888 that the cup could not be held. 2016 they held it in Delhi. 2017, John Bipin Rawat, our late CGS whom we lost in that Hapka crash on 8th December last year, when he took over as Chief of Army Staff, he decided that look, this is an event being done by the services. And in case this cup has to survive, it has to move to a place where there is a lot of fan following, there is some clubs very keen. Basically, any sport will only survive if you got spectators. So he decided to shift the cup to Calcutta. We all know Calcutta is known as a Mecca of Indian football. In 2017, he took a decision, but decision was probably late. And you all aware that sports calendar is so tight that if you miss it by 15-20 days, you will not get a slot. So 2017 and 18, some of the cup put on here. 2019 was the first time that the 129th edition was held in Kolkata, which was a great success. That was the first time we had some of the ISL teams and I-League teams taking part in it. 2020, COVID, we are all aware, none of the sporting activities took place. However, in 2021, we in the services are very keen that, look, 2019 was a great success in Calcutta, and so we are not going to miss the cup in 2021. I joined District Command on 15th April 2021, and my first thing they told me that, look, whatever it is, we have to start this event, and Calcutta is the only place which we can again look for. So, in a very short time, approached a lot of clubs. There were not too many people who were willing to take part, mainly because there were no practices, and all these professional football clubs, unless the team is prepared, they don't want to take part. Correct also. Somehow we could manage about 16 teams and we conducted the cup in Calcutta. And I can tell you that in 2021, Durand Cup was the only sporting event in the country which was conducted successfully. That gave us a lot of confidence. In fact, on 3rd October 2021, the finals in Salt Lake and Calcutta, where FC Goa won it, we had over 45,000 spectators. So, successful conduct of the cup in 2019 and 21 gave us a lot of confidence that look, we are in a position we can revive this cup. I'm sure you all must be aware that Durand is the oldest football tournament in Asia, and it is the third oldest in the world. It is only the Scottish Premier and the English Premier which are older than Durand. So we approached firstly the Durand Football Tournament Society that you please permit us. Let's have some continuity. So firstly there was a proposal that we will conduct in Calcutta for next 5 years. Now we also thought that it has to be a part of the annual All India Football Federation calendar. So we took up a case through All India Football Federation with the Asian Football Confederation, the governing body which looks after all football events in Asia. And because of persistent effort and the support that we got from All India Football Federation, I can tell you that we were successful in AFC now recognizing Durand as the second qualifying tournament for all our ISL teams which are wishing to take part in the AFC Cup. This means that two things. All 11 ISL teams, in fact all ISL teams perforce will have to now play Durand. Number one, which will definitely raise the level of football. And number two, it is the annual calendar of All India Football Federation, that is football in the country, the football season starts with Durand. So that was great. There were a lot of, there were certain states which are approaching the All India Football Federations. Why not have a cup for a particular state? But we said, look, we are the holder of the oldest football tournament, and the kind of the reach that we have in the services, we are capable of conducting it to a very good standard. Now the next thing which we decided within my team only, that look, yeah, it's fine conducting for 52 years in Shimla, 74 years in Delhi, and say 2 years in Calcutta plus Goa. Why not make it a multi-city tournament? Something like you have an IPL. So we thought, okay, the 131st edition, we approached Government of Assam, Government of Manipur, We went and saw the infrastructure that they have, and we got convinced that at least one pool can play in Assam and one can play in Manipur. Incidentally, the present Chief Minister of Manipur, Mr. N. Biren Singh, is an ex-Durand player. He played for BSF, and that year they were the winners of Durand Cup. So when I met the Chief Minister, he was so excited about it. But when I went and saw his stadium, the stadium was not in a good shape. So I told him, sorry Chief Minister, though I was very keen to start the cup here, but your infrastructure doesn't somehow motivate me. He said, nothing doing, we will prepare. And I am glad to say that on 27th I chaired a similar press conference with the Chief Minister and visited the stadium. Tremendous amount of work that has been done. I also met the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Mr. Conrad Sangma, who was also very keen. So like what I was discussing with Mr. Akshay before we entered, that we have a good scope of taking this cup something on the same lines in an IPL. So this can be an IPL of cricket, because next year we must plan for a cup, for a pool playing in Meghalaya, Assam, Manipur, probably Mizoram as well. And what Akshay was saying, that why not Goa? So we can have a pool playing in Goa also. Last year, there were a lot of clubs whom we were requesting to take part. This year, they have been approaching me, but unfortunately, I have not been able to accommodate, because this year we are having 20 teams with 11 ISL teams joining us. There are only 5 I-League teams and 4 services teams. So clubs like Minerva, CRPF, Assam Rifles, we had to, we just could not accommodate them. So there is a greater scope that for next year this can be a 24 or a 28 team tournament. This is how we went. Now, in the DFTS we also took a decision that like we have these trophies. Every trophy has got its, is a history behind it. So not many people are aware of it. So how do the public know about it? So we decided to conduct a trophy. We flagged off in Calcutta, then we had Guwahati, Manipur, Rajasthan, Jaipur, because Rajasthan United Football Club is a club from Rajasthan taking part after 42 years in Durand. Whereas when we talk about Goa, West Bengal and other states, I mean, there is no event conducted with at least 3 to 4 teams from these events. And finally we decided to come to Goa. I am grateful to Mr. Akshay Tandon, because when I spoke to him, since they are the winners and these cups have already come here, so I said, no, this is a way to just promote this event. We must conduct this trophy pool here. Now, in a short while, you find the 3 trophies being unveiled in front of the Honorable Minister. A word about the 3 trophies. First, we have the Durand Cup, the original cup. Next, in 1903, there is a Shimla Trophy, which was contributed by the money collected by the locals from Shimla. They were so much attached with the cup that in 1903 they started a Shimla Trophy. And the third cup that we have is a President's Cup, which was given by the first President of India, Dr. Rajendra Shah. From 1965 onwards, the Durand Cup and the Shimla Trophy are rolling trophies, whereas the President's Cup is given to the winner for keeping it with them. So in a short while from now, you will see all these 3 trophies there. Like I was saying, when we decided, there are a lot of other cities also, Bangalore, Kochi. Why Goa? Because Goa, I personally feel that is second to none as far as promotion of football is concerned. And when you look into the clubs, you have the famous Churchill Brothers, Salgankar, Dempo, about 5 or 6 clubs taking part in all national league events. And when you go down to the history, I think the football club from Goa has won tournament about 7 to 8 times. Though the maximum is 2 teams from Calcutta, that is Mohan Bagan and East Bengal. Each of these clubs have won the cup 16 times each. The BSF has won it about 5 times in the runners-up. JCT has won it about 7 times. And we have some army teams also winning it. But I found that Goa has got a lot of craze for football. So I said, in our trophy tour, we must include Goa. So initially there were some doubts, but then I had to speak to Mr. Akshay Tandon, and he was very, just thank him and his entire team for having taken out time and the kind of energy, enthusiasm these people show. It's really very motivating for anybody coming from outside for an event like this. So, ladies and gentlemen, I personally feel I'm last 2 years I've been handling it. Personally, for me, it is a great occasion and a great honor to be trying to restore the legacy of this cup. And I, along with my small team of about just 3 to 4 officers, we have just been approaching the various football clubs. The response that we have got is really very, very motivating. And it is basically because of that response that we have got that we have been able to put 2 successful cups. And I'm sure 131st edition is going to be a grand event. This year we have got 20 teams, 4 pools, 2 pools play in Calcutta, 1 pool plays in Assam, 1 plays in Manipur. The knockout stage onwards, that is quarterfinals, semis and finals will all be done in Calcutta. So we'll see a great football season ahead of us the next 1 month. Special word for my friend from the media. We are really very grateful, and I can tell you I feel very motivated and thrilled and honored to see so many friends from the media. The kind of coverage and the cover that you gave for the last 2 editions was phenomenal, and it is basically because of your efforts that we are able to put this event across to the football fans of the country. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Lieutenant General K.K. Repswal, Seva Medal, Wishes Seva Medal, for those insightful and encouraging words. And I'm sure the football-loving fans of our state of Goa cannot wait to watch their beloved team play in the Durand. Next, I would now request Akshay Tandon to please address the audience.
Thank you. Lieutenant General, Repswal, Commander, and Minister, and good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here. FC Goa is honored to be the defending champions of the Durand Cup. I would like to congratulate Lieutenant General Repswal and his brother. Actually, I remember 2 years ago I got a call from his brother, 2.5 years back now maybe, saying that your team must participate, and I remember that there was a change in the way that the Durand Cup was being sort of handled, and we were quite eager to participate because Indian football needs more competition and Indian football needs more tournaments like this. And the first time that I spoke to Lieutenant General Repswal was last year, when there was a whole bunch of rain that had unexpectedly fallen in Calcutta, and it was continuously 3 or 4 or 5 days of unexpected rains, and there was all this stress about whether the grounds are going to hold up and whether the teams are going to be able to play or the matches are going to be able to go on. And we had a stressful evening. I remember we exchanged about 10 phone calls back and forth trying to figure out whether the teams are going to, but he was extremely hands-on. He made sure that all our concerns were addressed. And finally, the next morning, we ended up playing the game. We ended up winning 5-1. And I can imagine from the Army's perspective, we just basically made a whole bunch of fuss and got what we wanted at the end of it anyway. But yeah, I must congratulate them. The scale at which the Durand Cup is happening is very, very encouraging. It's exactly what football needs. I'm sure, and I would request the Honourable Minister also to, extend all arms to the Durand Cup for next season. Whatever we can do, however we can participate and have more Goan teams participate in the tournament, that would be our honour and something we should look forward to. And we are going to put our best foot forward. Congratulations and thank you to all the staff that have also been working on this tournament. We look forward to participating, and we look forward to many, many more years and decades, hopefully, of the Durand Cup. You can always count on FC Goa being there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akshay, for these words. I'm sure the Goan fans are definitely excited to watch FC Goa in the Durand Cup, and battle it out again to defend their title. Now I would request the Honourable Minister, Shri Rohan Kaunteji, to please address the audience as well.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Lieutenant General K.K. Rikswalji, the Naval Officer in Charge Goa and the Chief Staff Officer of Headquarters Goa Naval Area, Commodore Ashish Goyalji, my friend, the President of FC Goa, Akshay, our legendary coach who has been with the FC Goa now, Mr. Derek Pereira, our heroes from the armed forces, players from FC Goa, electronic media, press, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and privilege to be amongst all of you for this August function. As Rikswalji said, when he was narrating the whole part of the Durand Cup, one thing I could see was a lot of passion. A passion for the sports that we all love. Goa has people who are very talented, have music, have sports in their blood. And football automatically is a state sport. He's been there for journeys. We have been for generations, we have been seeing that when we were small kids also, right from small tournaments like the Santosh Trophy to today's ISL, football has evolved. And when we talk about the Durand Cup, 131 years, I think 4 generations must have gone into this to ensure that this tournament keeps going. 131st edition also speaks about the way the whole tournament has been organized. I'm happy that the whole plan of launching the trophies is happening in Goa. But I would have been more happier if the tournament, one part of it from Kolkata, Guwahati and Impal, if Goa would have been one of that. ISL has spoken a lot of volumes in Goa. And last 2-3 years, with COVID coming in, players have actually played the tournaments without any spectators. It's always a combination. If the players need to be actually encouraged and motivated, they need the guys cheering out to them. At the same time, sports lovers who want to see them play live, be there. If Glenn is playing, then we need to see that whether Glenn shoots or does not shoot, we want to see his game. And that's how Goans have been all over. I think it's the right time what Akshay spoke, Rikswalji spoke about. Goa would love to host this type of tournaments. A tournament which has completed 131 years and 131st edition is happening this year. Imagine the number of football players that must have evolved. Imagine the number of tournaments, the type of organization that must have happened in the past. And that all gets glory not only to the sport but also to the country. I'm made to understand that this tournament started before the English Premier League. And that itself speaks volumes. We have started something where the English would dominate over the whole world. We started something before them. We have a pride that the armed forces have been behind all these things in organizing this type of tournaments. Armed forces have always been our heroes. We come here as politicians. We have a role to play in policy making. But to safeguard our interests in our state and our country is the duty of the armed forces, which they have been doing it so well, which I would like to convey from my heart out actually, convey my salami to all my friends here. Whether it's a war or any other thing, it's something that you guys keep us safe. And today when we come here, I have a jolly good time of having a launch of a cup. It gives us a very round motivation for the next generation also. How the next generation, when we talk about India being the biggest democracy, the youngest nation, we also need to see what direction we can take them. And this type of discipline which a sport teaches us, if we are able to get it together, pitch things together, I think there's a long way to go. Akshay and his team, FC Goa, have made it a brand as far as football is concerned in Goa. From generations now we have had, although Goa is a small place, a small size of 15 lakh population, which might be one of the districts in the bigger states. We have to understand that we have been churning out almost 5 teams at the national and international level. Right from Salgaonkar, Sporting Club, Goa, you name it and they were there. And now it's FC Goa. Akshay has put a lot of efforts in ensuring that the brand goes high enough where it's a Goan's pride today. And any tournament which comes up and FC Goa is playing, we have a fan club which actually travels to that state and comes there as a cheerleader to ensure that our team goes through. And I'm happy to know that last year the Durand Cup went to FC Goa. Congrats, Akshay. This whole feeling, only we can pitch ourselves and say, that next year, after 2014, there must have been issues. I don't know what was there. But with the present government, the Chief Minister, the Sports Minister, myself as the Tourism and IT Minister, we have a cabinet which is a mix of youth, experience, and everyone would love to have this sport to the level of Durand Cup come here. So, Ritualji, I would take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Goa for the next edition. If things need to be worked out, I think with Akshay, I think things can be channelized so that next year we have something, a flag of Durand Cup flying high in Goa. I convey my best wishes to all the players who will be participating. My whole congratulations and wishes to Ritualji and his team for having been organizing this Durand Cup for so long. My best wishes to all of the organizers who have been the support staff who have never been seen. The organizing also is art. We can be here, we can talk, but behind this there is a big journey. I think all these things makes into a successful tournament. A lot of things need to be stitched together. I would like to convey my best wishes and support to the forthcoming Durand Cup, the 131st edition, and whatever we can do for Goa. I think the journey has just begun for Goa. Let's talk it out and make it successful for next year for Goa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mr. Shri Goan Kaundaji, for those words. Now the floor is open for our distinguished media friends to ask one-on-one questions to the dignitaries present here. Please raise your hands and one of our colleagues will hand over you the mic to ask your questions. But before you ask your questions, please do state your name and publications. Thank you.
So, hi, good afternoon. This is Marcus from the Times of India. So, since the Durand Cup has now got official recognition from the Asian Football Confederation, it is now part of the AIFF calendar as well. We see a lot of the all ISL teams will now take part in the Durand Cup for the first time. So, what are the organizational challenges as far as the army is concerned or the armed forces are concerned? And since you spoke about expanding to maybe 24 or 28 teams from next season, having it at multiple venues, what are the challenges?
See, this cup, what I was telling you, from Delhi it has to move to Goa for 1 year, back to Delhi, and then finally it went to Calcutta. Organizing an event of this nature needs a lot of coordination, a lot of efforts. There are various agencies working towards it. We have the AFC, what I told you, Asian Football Confederation. We have got the All India Football Federation. We have got the Durand Football Tournament Society. The idea is to take this to the north. Firstly, services we have a tremendous advantage that we got a huge outreach. Whether you go to Guwahati, you go to Manipur, you go to Mizoram, you go to Meghalaya, Goa, at least we have got people in uniform. So though the challenge is huge, but at least basically because of our establishment being there at these places, we have a slight advantage. Otherwise, nowadays it's going to become a very professional competition. All the clubs have got foreign players, they're training, they're getting into a contract, and getting all these teams together at a place it amounts to a lot of coordination. Last year, I can tell you, despite COVID, we had almost about 16 teams, and each team has got about approximately 40 members. So doing their RT-PCR tests on every